This is my farm in the forest, but it wasn't always like this. I managed to create my own farm, which now brings in tens of thousands of dollars. We'll take on all kinds of work, from working on our own field to managing enterprises. If you're interested, subscribe to the channel and enjoy watching. So, we set off. As we approach the destination, we see that the area is densely forested and mountainous. Upon arrival, we stop by a beautiful mountain lake. This seems like the perfect spot for us to settle, as it's the flattest area in the forest, and the views are stunning. All we have is our truck with an old trailer and a chainsaw. With not a penny to our name, we won't waste any time, and we'll get to work right away. We cut down the first tree, then trim off the branches and cut it into roughly equal logs. After that, we load them into the trailer and secure them with straps. We do the same with the second tree. Now we can head out and earn our first money. Not far from us, across the highway, there's a sawmill that will gladly buy our logs, so let's head over there. We hop in the truck and drive down from the mountains, carefully crossing a mountain stream before reaching the forest road where the sawmill is located. Upon arriving, we unstrap the logs from the trailer and unload them directly into the water. After emptying the trailer, we sell the logs for almost $10,000, which is exciting since it's our first income. Pleased with the first profit, we return to our plot to continue working with the wood, as we have no other job for now. After cutting another trailer load of logs, we go to sell them and earn another $7,000. After selling all the firewood and earning a bit more money, we return to our plot. We set up a tent, which cost us $500, and made some improvements to the area. Specifically, we fenced off our lake and built a bridge over the mountain stream, which cost another $5,000. This way, we can now easily access our new home without any issues. Now our plot looks better, cozier, and more suitable for living. We continue cutting down trees to earn more money. After delivering 2 more trailer loads of logs, our balance has grown to $25,000. I got the idea to create a small field on our land, but for that, we'll need a tractor. So let's head to the store. Since I can't drive there in the truck, I decided to hitchhike. After running to the highway, I try to flag down any car. On the second attempt, we get lucky, and someone agrees to give us a lift to the store. A few minutes later, we arrive at the store. I decided to give $40 for gas to the man who gave us a ride, as he didn't hesitate to help us out. Upon entering the store, I started looking for an affordable tractor. I settled on an old John Deere, which cost us $10,000. I also picked up a small Deep Ripper for another $1,000. Now, we hop in the tractor, attach the Ripper, and head back home. Arriving home, the first thing we do is start marking the boundaries of our future field and then begin filling them in. The work wasn't easy since the terrain here is quite hilly, and there was a huge boulder right in the middle of our field, which we'll remove later. After an hour of hard work, our small field was ready. Now we need to plant it, but I haven't yet decided what to sow, so let's head to the store and buy a seeder first. At the store, we purchase a small seeder, which costs us $7,000. After buying it, we immediately head back to the plot. Since I still haven't decided what to plant, I decided to focus on earning more money for now. I gathered the leftover logs and branches from the previous trees and cut down 1 more tree. I took everything to the sawmill and earned $6,000 for it. Since it was already evening, we headed back to our tent to rest. Waking up in the morning, it was already autumn outside, and it seemed like a good time to plant the field. It's the perfect season for wheat, so that's what we'll plant. Let's not waste any time and head out to buy seeds. Jumping into the SUV, I drove straight to the store where I bought a large bag of seeds. After loading it into the car's trunk, we headed back to the farm. Once back, we took our tractor, attached the seeder, and started loading it with seeds. After filling the seeder to the brim, we closed the cover and got to work. The planting process went faster than creating the field, as the seeder was twice as wide, though we still had to maneuver quite a bit. After an hour, the entire field was planted with wheat. Since we now have more equipment, it would be a good idea to build a shed for it. Fortunately, we still have some money left, though not much. After building a small shed, which cost us $5,000, we started moving all the equipment under it. We also fenced off a bit more of the lake. Now, our little farm is starting to look pretty nice. However, the tall grass and bushes are bothering me, and to clear them out, we'll need a brush cutter. Let's head to the store. We jump into the SUV, hook up the trailer, and drive to the store, where we buy a brush cutter for just $80. Then we head back to the farm, and upon arrival, we get straight to work, cutting down all the tall bushes that are in our way, as well as the grass around our plot and field. After some time, our plot looked so much better it was unrecognizable. I'm very pleased with my work. The grass is gone, and now let's remove the tree that's also in our way. We cut it down and take it to sell. Surprisingly, we earned a whole $10,000 from that one tree, which is great news. With the money we earned, we head to the store to buy a winch for the tractor so we can transport not only short, but also long tree trunks. We spend $7,000 on the purchase. On the way back to the farm, I noticed a pretty decent tree, perfect for testing out the winch. We cut it down and divide it into 4 relatively even sections. Then, we attach the winch to the first log, pull it closer, and from there, we pass the cable to the second log, securing it as well. We get into the tractor and slowly but surely start dragging the logs behind us. After dragging them to the sawmill, we detach the winch and push the logs into the water using the rear bucket. I earned $9,000 from selling the first 2 logs, which is quite good. Now it's time to return for the remaining logs. After hauling them, I managed to make another $4,000. Returning to the farm, I remembered I had long wanted to remove this tree, but we didn't have a winch to haul such large logs. Now that we have everything we need, let's get to it. First, we cut down the massive sequoia, then remove all the branches, which we pile up in one heap. Once the branches are cleared, we begin cutting through the main part of the tree. After cutting the tree trunk into sections, we try pulling them with the winch, but the tractor isn't powerful enough. So there's nothing left to do but set them aside for later. Once we buy a new tractor, we'll find a use for them. For now, we'll move the logs to the creek so they don't get in the way, using the rear bucket and the winch to do the job. After moving all the logs, we leave the tractor and get into the car. We hitch up the trailer and load the branches we cut off earlier. Once they're secured, we head to the sawmill, where we earn a little over $2,000 for the branches, which is a nice bonus on top of our main work. By this time, it's already quite dark outside, so we turn on the headlights and drive back to the plot, where we park the car and settle down to rest after a long day of hard work. Waking up early in the morning, I couldn't help but notice that our wheat had sprouted. Today, I decided to focus on earning money because I want to build my first production facility, a sawmill. So, without wasting time, let's get to work. We hop into the tractor and head to the familiar tree line by the highway, where we find and cut down 2 good tall trees. After clearing off the branches and cutting them into logs, we load them onto the trailer. The 2 trees were enough to fully load the trailer, so we strap everything down and head off to sell them. We earned $18,000 for this load, which is a decent amount, but not enough for what we need, so we keep working. We return to the same spot and cut down more similar trees. After fully loading the trailer with logs, we head back to the selling point. This time, we earned a bit less, $16,000 for the second load. With nearly $60,000 in the account, I think that should be enough to start the production. So, we return to the plot to look for a suitable spot for the sawmill. Upon arrival, I found the perfect location for the facility, but unfortunately, we're still a bit short on funds. This realization brought me back to work. After cutting a 3rd trailer load of logs today, we take it to sell. We managed to earn $19,000 from this load. Now, we should have enough money. We return to the plot and finally build our long-awaited sawmill, which cost us $60,000. Since we now have our own production facility, it would be a good idea to get it running. We hop into the tractor, cut down 2 trees not far from our plot, and deliver them to the sawmill. Then, we start the production of planks. Returning to work and selling another trailer load of logs, I was told that outside of town, there's an iron ore mine, and you can make money there too. So we park the tractor and head to the mine. The trip wasn't very long, and upon arriving, we see that there's already some old abandoned equipment and a huge pile of iron ore. Let's not waste any time and get to work. We attach the bucket and start loading the ore into the truck. After filling the trailer, we get in and head to the ore selling point, which is in the city, near the railroad tracks. The first problem I encountered was that the truck is very slow, and when going uphill, it barely moves at all. After some time, I finally arrived at the selling point, where workers with an excavator were already waiting for me. I earned $16,000 from this load. I don't even know if that's a lot or not, because it took almost an hour to deliver this trailer, and during that time, I could have brought 2 or even 3 trailers of firewood, earning much more. On the way back, I realized that this job wasn't for me, and I wouldn't do it anymore. So upon returning, I left the equipment, got into my car, and headed home. Once I arrived home, I immediately went to sleep. Waking up in the morning, I can't help but notice that the leaves on the trees have completely changed color, which means it's deep autumn now. The first thing I did was run to check on my field, and then I headed to the sawmill to see how production was going. I saw that the first batch of boards was already ready, but it wasn't enough for sale, and we still didn't have a trailer for transporting them. On top of that, the wood at the sawmill had run out, so it wouldn't hurt to fill the storage with wood. Right next to the sawmill stood a huge sequoia, so I thought it would be a good idea to cut it down and use it for producing boards. I decided to do just that. After bringing the tractor with a winch, I started cutting down the tree. After cutting down the tree, I immediately removed all the branches to avoid any obstruction during transportation and took them to the sawmill as well. Now, we cut the trunk of the tree into smaller pieces so we can pull them with the winch. We managed to pull a couple of logs with the winch, but the rest was difficult to move, so we used the back bucket of the winch. In total, from one such tree, we got 17,000 liters of firewood. While we still have some money, I decided to upgrade our old trailer and buy a newer one. So we got into the tractor and headed to the store. There, we sold our old trailer and bought a new one for $8,000. With the new trailer, we set off to cut wood. This trailer can hold more wood, which means we can accumulate money faster for a brand new tractor. After filling the trailer with wood, we headed to sell it, earning another $15,000. After selling 2 more trailers of firewood, we had a decent amount of money, and our account balance was already $120,000. I think this is enough to buy a new tractor. After the sale, we went to the farm to drop off the trailer and then headed to the store. In the store, we first sold our tractor, which gave us another $7,000. In exchange, we bought a new one for $70,000, and with the remaining money, we purchased a trailer that we would soon use to transport our boards from the sawmill once we had enough for sale. We spent another $14,000 on the trailer. Now we can return home, where we leave the trailer at the production site and head off to work. After selling 2 more trailers of firewood, it had already gotten dark outside, and I was quite tired from the day. So we went back home, parked all the equipment, and with the money earned, I decided to build our first house, as living in a tent was no longer comfortable. Thus, we built a small wooden house that cost us $10,000. Now, it was time to go to sleep. Waking up early in the morning, I noticed it was cloudy outside, and the first winter snow was falling. Since I wasn't keen on working with wood during the winter, I decided to head to the store, where I bought a small loader and a compact jackhammer. As you might have guessed, I planned to clear the stones from the property and prepare the area for further expansion of our farm. So we attached the jackhammer and headed home, while turning on the headlights since it was still dark and snowing outside. Upon arrival, we immediately got to work, finding all the stones on our lot and breaking them up. We also removed the large boulder from our field. After clearing all the stones, we moved all the equipment out from under the shelter since we were going to tear it down. And in the spring, we would be grading our lot. That's all from me. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel and like it. Bye!